So here we are, all ready to go. Let's activate T, throttle up in readiness. I don't know why my throttle starts in the middle. I think I've got something plugged in. And let's hit space. So these SRBs are going to take us up nicely first. Like they're really just to get us out of the very thick lower parts of the atmosphere and give us a bit of a speed boost on the way up so we don't have to burn fuel trying to accelerate ourselves off the ground. So as we watch the ground recede, we'll continue to climb. You can see we're slowly accelerating. We're getting quite fast here, which is way faster than we should be going for this height. But those are done. Oh, the nose cones are kind of separated and the SRBs exploded. I didn't know that would happen. Oh well. So now we're on just this bit. Now this bit should be enough to just get us up into orbit on its own if we fly the right profile. So we're accelerating too much, so let's slow down a bit. Because yes, there's a whole thing about burning too much fuel and getting too fast that you have to worry about. But as we're picking up, we're almost above the lower part of the atmosphere now, so let's turn ourselves over. Whilst we can use most of our control from the fins. Now, very gentle gravity turn. We don't want to put too much speed onto it. Otherwise we lose all our momentum, which wouldn't be good. So slowly turning over to 45 degrees, trying to keep the heading on the 90, which can be somewhat difficult. And there we go, we've started our gravity turn. We haven't lost too much speed or momentum in the process. Our prograde vector is coming along nicely, so we are keeping everything nice and stable. So if we switch to the map view now and bring that up, you can see that we are accelerating quite nicely. And if we look at the info here, we can see that our craft was under 10 tons. So we're getting a little high, so we can start flattening out the trajectory now. We basically want to keep the time to apoapse under a minute, I found, because that tends to be where you get your most efficient burns. I don't know if that's right or not, but it's what I've been doing. So yeah, you can see we've got a bit more, so now I'm just going to put more speed into gaining horizontal instead of vertical, because we're going to get into orbital altitude soon enough anyway. And if we do run out of this first stage, I want just the lower one to burn up. So here we go, running up nicely, getting speed. I'm going to stop it when it gets to 100. You can see I've got a station orbiting at this altitude. There we go, 101, that'll do. Nice bit of speed. And we've still got some fuel left in this, so we'll burn that up, but we won't lift our periaps completely out of the atmosphere, so that way this will fall back and then burn up in the atmosphere. So here we are, out of the atmosphere now, we're above 80,000. So let's create a maneuver node at the apoapse, let's just bring it out. Wait until we see a flip around. Oh, we went too far there. Oh, there it is. So just nice and gentle. 101, 104, that'll do. I'm not trying to be fully circular. So there we go, burn time of 11 seconds in a minute 40. So let's just time warp a little bit, bring us closer to that time. Now we should easily have enough fuel left in this first stage to get us fully into that orbit. But we're not trying to get into that full orbit. So, as you can see, because this craft is quite big, the probe doesn't really have enough torque to turn it on its own. But we're getting rid of a lot of this mass, so that doesn't matter. So, throttle up so we can turn ourselves around. There we go, we're in the right marker. Let's bring up the map. Now remember, we're watching for the prograde marker, which will appear around here. If we get the Kerbal planet, I was going to say the planet Kerbal, but I say Kerbal planet. Good English. Just waiting to see until we bring it around. Here it comes. There we go. Now we want to just bring that up nicely, but enough that it will burn up. So there we go. 42 Ks is enough. Is it? Yep, 42 K should be enough. So now we will do a stage separation. There we go. Those should all now re-enter the atmosphere, and we've got this engine left, so let's throttle this up. Now this will bring us up easily. So there we go, we've got a 90 and 110, let's just make this a little higher. 114.93, it's close enough. And there we go, we are now in orbit. Easy, wasn't it? So let's land this now somewhere. Now you can see we've got this entire tank of fuel. And it may not look like much, but this lot of fuel can do great things in this altitude. Especially with this engine, which although it only has a specific impulse of 350, because it does decent thrust for its mass with this very light payload, you can get pretty much anywhere you want to go. But after much configuration with the maneuver nodes, I found an encounter that will put us with the moon. I was going to go with Minmus, but Minmus just wasn't in the spot because the moon kept interrupting me. So we're going to come in at 20,000 meters above it. So let's just get ourselves ready for that. That burn is in 24 minutes. So bring ourselves back to our ship. Oh, and we forgot to deploy the solar panels, which is a good thing to do when you're messing around. Even though at the moment they're not going to do anything because we're on the dark side. So let's extend the panels, extend the panels. So 20 seconds to go for the burn, and this is our ship. Looking quite pretty, doesn't it? It's just a basic one. And yeah, that's one of the things I wish about the career mode, is that you started with probes rather than sending Kerbals. Because yes, Kerbals are cooler, but at the same time they're not as realistic, whereas I like to send probes to everything first. But anyway, here's our probe underway with all the might of that little Rockomax engine burning away. This is of course the biggest burn you'd have to do if you were trying to send something into interplanetary space, which isn't all too hard to do, because afterwards all your adjustment orbits, if you've timed everything right, need to be only short little burns. So let's try and keep it on the maneuver here. We can keep burning away. There's our target, the moon right there. Keep going as we're getting our speed, slows down, and that should be us. What have we got? Oh, we're doing a little far away, so let's small adjustments. Let's get our periaps nice and low. I want to get it nice and low, there we go. Oh, 14,500, that'll do. So that's us. You can see that is a slingshot, because that would give us to a Kerbal escape, which we're not actually aiming for. So I could do that, but I haven't actually got anywhere to go at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So here we go, we've crossed into the moon's sphere of influence. There's the moon there. Kerbal is well behind us, back there. Let's turn our ship around so that we're getting ready for the actual landing process. Now this is going to be relatively easy to do, even though I am absolutely horrible when it comes to landing. So what we need to do is we're going to want to put ourselves down in orbit. You could come straight in, but I like to come into an orbit first because it slows you down nicely and lets you pick your landing site more easily. So with a slight amount of tweaking, there's our orbit. It isn't perfectly straight, you can see it's at quite an incline. But I'm not too fussed really, I'm not trying to get it into an equatorial orbit. So 11-second burn, 268 meters a second, we can do that easily. So let's accelerate in, time accelerate, watch the moon fly in at us as we basically fall into it. All those craters there, looking quite pretty, isn't it? Slow ourselves down, we don't want to shoot right past it because we need to get this burn. Getting real low. And we're on the dark side, of course, because that's when I always seem to get my things done, which is a pain. But coming in, there goes the horizon, sun vanishing behind the moon. We are now out of communications with Kerbal. So this probe shouldn't be able to be controlled at all if this was realistic, because we're in the moon's shadow. But with mods like Remote Tech, you can have that sort of problems come up. But here's our node, so let's slow ourselves down. Don't really need to be doing a full speed burn, but I'm doing it. There we go, half. Watch our orbit go down. Slow it down as we do so we can get more accurate. Keep burning, slowing down, and we should be good to go. yeah, there we go. So we can remove that maneuver node now, and we are in orbit around the moon.